Yeah, he's someone that's if he gets into his bubble, he's very hard to get out. And to be fair to him, he works in that. Whenever we practice in the nets or in middle practice, he's very determined not to get out. He's got such a strong defense that he showed today that when he puts his mind to it, he can do it. It's just kind of a shame that no one in that kind of top order, middle order could hang around for just long enough. But this morning we asked the group to just show some fight. The batters who had to come in, and I think they did that. To get it to just before tea on the fifth day. We were behind the game a lot. There's no doubt about it. Bangladesh deserved to win the series 2-0. But we're very proud of how we've gone about our business. We've been tested, but that's what you expect. And Bangladesh deserved their win. Yeah, well, I played club cricket with Gavin back in Dublin. I've known him since he was a kid. His dad was an Irish international in the 90s, a leg spinner as well. So I think he's only been bowling leg spin since lockdown. So for 5 years, he was a seam bowler. I played cricket with him in the club when he was a seam bowler. So to have the skill set that he has in such a short space of time is really impressive. And he's just gonna, I think, get better and better from experiences like this. The challenge for us now is to make sure that he gets enough overs under his belt to continue with his consistency and his development. Because for us to compete out here, we need to have our spinners bowling really well. And other areas of the game, of course. But that was a big plus to see him on debut. And even Jordan Neal, 𝗂𝗃𝗃, these guys, Stephen Doheney, even the 4 guys who made their debuts this tour, was great for us as a kind of country and for them as individuals. I suppose probably just before Murad took the 2 wickets, there was kind of a small bit of excitement in the change rooms at that drinks break. But I think credit to the Bangladesh spinners, they don't miss their line and length too often, so it tests the defense of our batters a lot. I think the 2 wickets and 2 balls put an end to that pretty quickly. But it was an enthralling day's play, and I think Curtis, can be very proud of his work today. Yeah, the expectation thing is interesting because naturally we had won 3 tests in a row, so there was confidence in the group. But we kind of have to manage the expectations a bit, because you're coming to places that are you're coming up against really experienced cricketers. An example would be Murad, who's made his debut in Sylhet, but he had a number of first-class games under his belt in this country, so he knows exactly where his game is at. I think all of us are still, every test match we're kind of learning on the job, and that can be difficult. We will have times where our players produce match-winning performances or standout performances, but it's just getting that balance of consistency. An example is the top order. We didn't fire for the last 2 games. The Bangladesh guys showed us how to do it as top order batters and bat long time and get big hundreds. We couldn't do that, and that was clearly a difference. So our expectations, we were naturally wanted to be competitive, and I think we were in periods, but just not for longer periods in Bangladesh. And I think they just showed their class for most of the 9 days cricket. Yeah, it probably did. I think a lot of us had seen the West Indies one-day series and were a bit nervous coming here. But when we arrived, we thought it looked a decent wicket, but we thought it would break up quite quickly. It didn't. It held together pretty well. It spun pretty much throughout. Maybe the first session on the first day there wasn't too much turn, but there was turn, but it wasn't like every ball. I think it's just really good cricket wicket. It was obviously quite tough work for the seamers. But I thought it was a pretty fair wicket. And 2 good wickets actually over the 2 test matches. Lovely grounds to play cricket in. Every time we play test cricket, we come up against different teams in different conditions. But that was a pretty good wicket, and we have no complaints about that. I think we have 4 new test cricketers. That's pretty special. You just have to look at someone like 𝗂𝗂 made his 100th test match this week. I think his first test was in 2005, so that's 20 years. I think for one of our players to make 100 caps, they'd have to probably play for 50 years. So I don't know when we'll see our first centurion in that department, but I think 𝗂𝗂 is a good example of someone who was there in 2005 when it was probably quite tough as a Bangladesh test cricketer, and he's now got to a point where, you know, in their own conditions are as competitive as anyone. So we're making strides as a test nation. It's slow. It's a slow process. But that's all we can do, is we can just keep making progress, and hopefully down the line, you know, when we're all a bit older, we'll be able to see Ireland competing a bit better than maybe we did over the last 9 days.
For more updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Download 𝗃𝗵𝗄𝗧 app to enjoy exciting games and highlights. Visit 𝗃𝗵𝗄𝗧.com.